Good morning. Morning! Or afternoon. Or midnight. Whenever you're watching this. Good that you. Hey! Okie dokie now. I am going to be jumping straight into this because I want to finish this turkey as I've been saying for a while because I want to get into other things real soon that I'm going to be having a lot more I'm going to be doing a lot more, really. So I'm going to be working a lot more on like comic book stuff for just a little while. So I want to actually get myself dipped into my illustrating a lot more. Because I've been doing a lot of illustrating for, I just always am, but I want to make that a little more primary for the moment. But I can't ever just do that. So what I'm going to say is this. I want to go into full comic mode. So sculpting everything. So all my things are going to be probably based around a lot of my comic character and others around too. So I will have, I don't know, I want to have like a theme for it or something, like a knockoff fan art day or something where I do something that is out there already. Give it to the fan who wanted it type thing. So someone could, I'm going to probably set it up, be thinking about it, to where someone writes in or something. Then I select one, have the art style. Like I would like the art style too. Now let me explain that. So you may say I want Spider-Man, but in McFarlane. So that's a very that's a thing for me. That's like I like the very specifics of a style. Because you know you got all your artists that are just phenomenal. You got your Capulas, you got your you got your McFarlane. I mean McFarlane I know is dated, but not at all. The guy to me has still. Who am I following? I'm following a whole bunch right now on Instagram. I'm gonna start getting. I'll get a list going of all the people who I'm following, and I mean, there's Frank Miller, Frazetta, so many that I'm just like, dude, they run through my brain all the time. But you know what I've been getting into even on top of that is I want to get myself more into manga. I need to get into figuring out the Japanese names, who they are, because those dudes and women, the men and women of manga are, and men and women, trust me, if I'm not mistaken, the whole manga write-up for Full Metal Alchemist is just a ripping female artist that just, she's a dominant, oh my god. So art is what art is, and if you're skilled, you're skilled. That's it. Male, female, forget about it. Y'all got it. So I'll put a list down of all the people who I follow. Once again, she is one of them because I'm telling you, just glorious art. And I also, of course, follow my my Japanimation stuff that I really enjoy. I have all my animations that I really enjoy. One of my favorites, of course, being I said, of course, like everyone's like, oh yeah, yeah. But Cowboy Bebop. Oh, da 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 da. Do 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 do. Oh, me and my son. My son's 8. That opening song with all them doing their trippy little hand motions and stuff on there. That show has got me. And then if you ask me what is the real version of it that has been made, if you ask me, Firefly. Ixnay on the karate aspect of Spike Spiegel's character having karate, but the lead character, which just for the moment blanked. Sorry, Jaws, but it's one of the ones where his cowboy character in space is sweet. Dang it, I'm blanking on all the names of the characters, but Firefly, Go Serenity. Go Serenity. I love that show. I wish they would have gone further. Totally understandable about the situation. If I'm not mistaken, once again, it went like this. they didn't get to air their pilot episode when it first came out. So it came out, if I'm not mistaken, the first episode past the pilot. So it was episode, 1. Pilot episode being 1, so I guess you'd call it 1.12. So it was the first episode after the pilot. So the pilot got aired at the end of the season, which doesn't even make sense if you've watched Firefly all the way through. You have to watch that opening sequence. That pilot season was, if you would have seen the pilot episode on the pilot time, the season would have been just phenomenal. So a lot of people were lost in some of the characters because they really did open up with that, the Browncoats whole thing, the rebellion starting off. It was a little short sequence at the beginning, but it really did. That was that little seasoning that you knew you always taste in food. You're like, it's got cinnamon. That was the cinnamon of that series, and they skipped it. Flip about that. That makes me feel very sad for Joss Whedon's character. I mean, the whole plot thing set up that was perfect. So it is what it is, but great show to tag back to Cowboy Bebop, to run back through animation, to go back into my comics that I'm about to go to. It's like clicking files. If you look at that extension, I just brought it back to. Hold on, everybody. I'm going to do something here. Let's see if this works. So that way, I put a Willy back. There it is. Hold on. Just don't want it to look boring. Me walking away. Hold on. Just getting warm water. Warm water makes the pain go away. Warm water. Coming back. Yes, green. I need to put like a thingy that makes it look thingy instead of thingy. Oh. So I'm trying to get music going. So me and my son, holy smokes, he did it off of some beat loops, but he went in and I put him into a program that has music. So he went in and kind of DJ'd it up, and he recorded a track, and he's so good at it. I mean, blew my mind, actually. I was like, holy smokes. That was a good track, dude. I mean, because mine is real soft. It doesn't do too much. It doesn't go too far into DJing. So it's a single unit. It's off my tablet. And it's a program that runs very simply, but effectively has all different sets of loops. So he didn't create any of the loops, but he did mix them together, because from the start there's just a bunch of these loops that you have to kind of make together, and he makes this track, and I don't ever want to embarrass my man, so I'm not trying to say this to make him feel weird, but he just was like, I'm getting into it. He goes, see, he goes, I felt this part, man. I really felt this part. I'm like, yeah, dude, that's sweet. Really is. I mean, you always want your youngins to find something that is that any of us at any age know that feeling of what am I doing here? What is this? What's going on? Holy smokes. Is that real? Did that just happen? What's going on? Why is this happening? We all feel that way. But when you tell like those little moments, like I was saying, my son he felt that. He was really feeling the music, so he was putting his own track together. And you could tell he goes, watch. And he knew what was coming up because he made the track. And it was a good 3-4 minute long track, so he didn't just bust up a little thing. He created a nice 8 years old and just rocking it. I mean, so I'm going to do a video where me and him mix tracks and stuff. That'll probably be on JohnnyTronic's channel. So like I said, I'm still kind of doing my setup, getting everything going. I'm doing so many things on my own, which is fun. I like to do it that way. I prefer to know all my situations. That's just me. I know there's a lot of people who have a lot to do, so they have to hire out for a lot of stuff. I'd like to know how to do it one time through, and then I'll hire out things that I look at and I say, I get it now, so when I hire you, I will understand you and relate to you and enjoy you. I enjoy you. All you. Here's a little happy bush, little happy tree. Sorry, I just felt very homage to Bob Rossi. Bob Ross. The Rossmeister. And once again, I always give that dude a ton of credit because I got to watch him when I was a kid. He was on TV. My grandma used to watch Bob Ross. My grandma was a phenomenal artist. She was a painter extraordinaire in my book. And that's the only book that mattered when I was growing up with my art, was my book. And my book, my grandma was she was amazing actually. She could just sit down and put a scene on the canvas. And she was really good with scenes. So she was good with trees. She won contests. She never went too far with it, unfortunately. She did what she did, and she had her life going the way she liked it. And it was just the side thing that she did, but I was always so... She knew she was an artist. That's what inspired me about my grandma. She was a wonderful, wonderful, sweet woman, just had a lot of kindness in her heart. But it was one of those things where when you would see her actually paint, it was interesting because I found out that she was running on her ability to enjoy it so much she created a muscle memory of it. She wasn't much of an artist. She just knew how to move things around in a way that made art. Because she would always say, Dan, you're a much better artist than me. She used to always love my creativity. I would do a lot more people, a lot more building. You know, I was a young boy. I would make those scenes with tanks and planes and, there's stuff like that, And my grandma used to always enjoy those. She did. My grandma never really questioned it that I can remember too much. She never was like, what? She just kind of looked at it and was kind of like, she didn't understand it. Because some of my stuff got weird, of course, in high school when you get emotions and you start... And I used my art for my emotional release back in my youth. So I did a lot of things, got a little dark for a moment. And I can look back at that and I don't think too much into it because I think that you can release your emotions. Almost like a steam valve. You release the steam... And to be honest, for the most part, that steam shouldn't really be thought about too much. You shouldn't be thinking about, well, I just lost all that air and water. No one thinks about it. It's just steam release. But we put it on paper and people can analyze it. So really, it's more like, that was just my steam release. Don't look too deep into that. That was just the moment of me releasing steam, and I captured that moment on paper or film or a book or whatever that moment was that they released their pressure. It would appear that's how they are, but it was like, no. That was just me. That was the thing that was in there that needed to come out. And it came out. There it is. Don't think too much into it, because it's gone and out of me now. But that was there. So a lot of things in society can be almost, if you look at art, I always look at people's art, and that's what I always see. I always look at it and I just think, I don't look at it and say, that person was so much this. I almost look at it like, yeah, they just released that out of them. That's not them anymore. They may have residue, like if you were to squeeze paint through a tube. If you shake it out enough, there's still going to be residue down the tube. It will appear that it has that color all the way in it, but it's just a very thin layer that was just left behind from that thing going through it. And as a matter of fact, there are many ways to cleanse it to where once done, that tube would appear clean again. That's what I look at it like. A lot of times artists release these things out of them. And it's only those who saturate and sit and wallow in these things that can just keep creating over and over and over these exact same things. If you are dwelling in an emotional thought, you're going to see that continuously flowing from that artist. Which then you may want to say, hey, buddy, pal, friend, ooh, it's dark. And you keep going dark. And it stays very dark. So that darkness is, you're releasing steam. And every time that steam comes out, it keeps looking like this. Which means you're not controlling that emotion. You are actually allowing that to be the fuel that sits beneath the furnace creating the steam. That's me knowing art, that's me knowing artist mind, and that's the artist mind right there as far as I'm concerned. We release the steam that is within us. So the stuff that you see is usually, so mine usually tends to bubble around creativity. So my steam tends to build around a creative engine. So I always feel as though I'm trying to throw a creative coal into the mix. Keep a creative steam flowing. I try to not have it be so emotionally attached as more of a, how about this, I'll use an emotional attachment, but one that I kind of look around and I'm not going to lie, I do judge society and myself as well as looking around saying, I don't really want to create something that people don't like. I'm just one of those type of people. I grew up being a pleaser of a person. I would prefer to see people happy. So with that, that is my mentality. That is my family's mentality, actually. You all kind of, in my family, tend to be that way. So I tend to have that moniker trait of just saying, well, I'm going to create stuff that I feel, even though my stuff may be different, oddly different, I like to keep it within the realms of, I do, like I said, I do like to be different, but I look at it and I say, like, I have this piece here. I don't know if it makes a lot of sense to people, and it could look odd, but to me, it's stuff that I see around us all the time. Eyeballs, lips, you know, it's a kind of a crabby looking thing. It's got like little pincers. Octopus. So it's that outskirting, outlier, steampunky-ish. It's literally kind of, I would say probably more steampunk. Like when I do that, I'm going to add a lot of bronzing aspects to some of the outside portions of that. I'm going to get back on that real soon again. I was kind of working on it and hitting it up on Instagram quite a bit. And I haven't lately because I've been trying to pin this down. But I've also been getting myself reset back up into my LinkedIn accounts. I'm getting all my social media back all the way up again. It's funny because it feels like you're turning on a tower. I'm open for business. That's kind of what it feels like. And the more juice you give is the further your range is. So I'm trying to juice up right now and get everything out. Because I'm getting back into just doing this full time. This is the direction here. I sometimes am full-time art, and then I have to go back into the real world again. And I only say real world because I am a very physical artist, so I actually do put a lot of effort and work, like bloody work, like blood, sweat, and tears work type stuff into my art. So I'm always having to do a lot of heavy lift and heavy stuff because I'm moving around a lot of my shenanigans, which I usually have a shop's worth of stuff. So with that, this is, to me, full-time work. I mean, when you get going and you're building, if I get these masks at any rate of speed that I can continually do this over and over again, then I'm going to have to say, this then is, it's the job that you set yourself forth. But I also do commission work, so anyone who's looking for commission work, I do have myself out there in LinkedIn. Most of my stuff is set up as Dan's Artland or Dan's Artland 1. And I am out there in the world. You can find everything on my website. Boom. So my website down in the bottom corner over there, you can find all my info on everything at my website. So please visit my website. I am going to start doing some cool things where I'm setting up, like I said, I'm setting up a comic book for my son. It's a sweet idea. I'm digging it, actually. It's going to be so much fun. I just saw a dude. I'm going to give him some props right now. It's a dad and son combo. On the thing, it says from the mind of his 11-year-old son. I just started following him on Twitter. It's Pillow Head and Blanket Boy. I think it is. I think it's Pillow Head and Blanket Boy. I'll take a look in just a second here. But yeah, that's another daddy-son duo combo where essentially the dad's the artist, and he did his great intro. Check out his Kickstarter. Flippin' awesome. I am so into stuff like that right there. His Kickstarter was kicking. Let me see here. Boom, boom, boom. Do 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 do. Wop 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 wop. Come on, where are you? I'm just gonna look real quick. I'm not gonna take too much time on it, but it's like Pillow Head, and he's got a Kickstarter on it, and I'm like, dude, that Kickstarter was kicking, because what I liked about it was he made it a light animatic. He put in a little bit of sound effects. He really didn't even, all he made was a little bit of noises, didn't add his voice, didn't add a voice to it. It was very smart. I thought it was it was genius as far as I'm concerned on how to start a little Kickstarter page, and I might be doing something like that real soon. So for anybody who is enjoying what they're seeing with my Adventures in JohnnyTronic, yeah, take a look. Let me see. How do I get to? See, I'm still trying to figure out how to go to anything I want to go to in Twitter. I just started kicking Twitter here, guys. Sorry about it if anyone's... Let me see. Oh, here it is. Boom, 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 boom. It was in one of my indie comics ones. So I started following indie comics because, of course, how else are you going to find it? And so I'm looking through all the indie comics sections, and that's where I found this... the Pillow Head. I don't think it's Pillow Pants. No, it's Pillow Head and Blanket Boy. Pillow Head and Blanket Boy. I think it's... Give me a second. Sorry, everybody. I want to see this here because this... Oh, here it is. Here it is. Yeah, this dude here. Pillow Man and Blanket Boy. Good job, dude. This thing is sweet. Maximum velocity. His style I dig. It's clean, smooth. It's workable. The comic looks enjoyable. You know the style. It's in your mind. You've seen something kind of like it, even though I can tell he's done some new stuff. And, you know, his own version of it, his own take. His handle's Sean Davis. Good job, dude. His Kickstarter page looks smooth. Take a look at it. Tell me what you think. Kind of want to do something like that. A nice little animatic. So just kind of throw it into your editing software. Toss in some flash. Put in some sound effects. I mean, I have all the stuff to do that, so that's kind of what I'm looking to do right now. If anyone wants to see JohnnyTronic go to the next level, please tell me. That right there would be sweet. That right there would be so much fun. I would even want to do a light animatic for some of the things on it. For an ebook style setup on it. And then I will buy me a full comic too. I've always loved comics. It's been like my favorite style. Manga. Always love manga. I mean, really, I do. Manga is one that the flow pattern of it, so smart. To me, it changes the dynamic of what a comic is. So you see it a lot more. Ta-da! You see it a lot in the flow style of our comics today. So much is pulled from great Japanese animations and comic book styles. They brought, if you ask me, the proper way of reality. You know, they bring sexy, they bring danger in a whole other light. And they always, it's interesting because there's like this, the theory, the thing that they say that like you teach an animal something or a species something on this side of the world, and all of a sudden somehow they all kind of collectively start to learn it everywhere. How did it go worldwide? How do they all start to do it? So if that's the case, you know, good art kicks into the world and it just starts an electric chain reaction of doing things almost this way. And it goes through probably a lot of reasons how it can travel and travel so fast. Maybe it is just static through the collective source, or maybe it's just through quick, light hummings of the idea, being the fact that phones and stuff are out there, you know, telegraphs, you know, have always, you know, been out there for so long, and all of the ways and sources of information moving, that once something is out there, it gets worldwide quickly. And with that, I always wonder if that's why like animation styles kind of collectively. I mean, from what I can understand, one of the first Japanese animators was a huge Disney fan. The creator, if I'm not mistaken, of Astro Boy, and what was that robot? Dun, dun, dun. What was the robot? But the robot one as well. And he was a huge fan of Disney. So once again, one style collectively created multiple facets of many other styles, because through Japanimation, other Eastern ideology through, let's just say that one animator, through the Japanese animator I'm speaking of, let's say collectively, that now has influenced all sorts of other people, but that person was influenced by Disney. So once again, can Disney go out there and say collectively they have influenced the world? Yeah, of course. Absolutely. No way around it, actually. That had to happen. Now, to what level? I think it's like saying I'm, you know, 1/1000th genetically this race of people. Does that make you that? I guess, kind of. Is that what you really are? I don't know. Maybe. Kind of, maybe. But maybe at that level. Maybe if those people are super good, and let's just say you're part of something super bad, does that mean you have 1/1000th goodness in you? Don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Wouldn't you just love to be a fly on the wall in some sort of like, okay, like let's just say you could do that magic school bus thing where that head teacher cruises around kids, magic school bus. But that would also be a time machine, so you can, of course, I think that thing is a time machine. Lord knows that thing does everything. I think it is a time machine. Does everything. Shrinks, time machine, checks out the universe. Something like that, so you can go be a fly on the wall for real stuff. You know, everyone has their, well, history says, well, this, yeah, nice try. Yeah, I don't listen to anybody. I don't listen to anything. I'll collectively kind of put things kind of together, but that's as much as I can do. And if that's as much as I can do, I'm not saying everyone, well, I studied and researched. What if you studied and researched a lie? But I studied it so good that I'm going to say it's right. Well, yeah, you studied a lie all the way, and you're claiming it to be the best thing in the universe because you want that lie to be true. So, can people study a lie? Yes. As a matter of fact, I believe a lot of history is a form of my lie that has just trickled down. Not my personal lie, but the someone in history's lie, my lie, has now influenced a ripple. It's like dropping water in a stream that's flowing lightly. It doesn't ripple outward in a ring. It ripples as a cone. And it ripples kind of outward as a cone because it's moving, and everything is always moving. We're never not moving. We're always in a motion. I would like to call it forward motion, but that is not, I don't think that's it at all. I don't think that's it at all, people. I think things are more, I think we could look right at nature to find out everything in the universe. But that's still objective. Like, what's really happening right there? Because a lot of people will want to say, this is what this is. That's photosynthesis, and that's doing this, and this. But then you can go to a shaman who will say it's actually this, and this, because it's really just energy flows and dappa. So everyone's got their version. But at the same time, I also have to say, we always have our thoughts of the moment now, but now is still in a process of moving forward. So the second you put a pin on the ground, it instantly starts to move back behind you and go away. And you're always then looking at that truth from a different distance as it goes further and further away from the moment you conceived it. That's all it is. So it's perspective. So you change your perspective on the thing that you created at this moment here. So I place the pin, boom, here. Now it starts to leave me from that moment on. It becomes mentally on a timeline that never stops. I place the pin here, and now it leaves me. And then I can always make reference to that idea, but the further it goes down the timeline, the further it is for me to go. And that idea is, hold on here, I kind of see it. I think it says, two scooble doogan doogie. Does two scooble doogan doogie mean anything to you? Let's make that our mantra. So we're making mantras and ideas from something in the past so hard to see it's not even there anymore in our visual aspect. Can't even see it. It's not there. We just know that that thought is there for reals. For realsy reals, it really is there, but it's back so far in the timeline. Have fun. That's why I would like to be a fly on the wall. Go back to that pin. Check that thought for reals. The real time marker. The day of. The moment of is the only way to conceive that actual thing, because you have to put a lot of things into perspective. Because at that moment, that pin was set in an emotional ideology based around the things of the radius in that individual's perspective or thought's perspective. So that is what we need to start to think about, is the conception of the ability for us. So we essentially need to build ourselves a telescope that can look into the past. Do. Yeah, I need some theme music here. Like hit a button, and then that's what I'm gonna do. Actually, I'm almost there. I'm getting there because this is theme music stuff. I don't take too many things too seriously, even though I sound like I'm. This is just my brain has been, as when I do this stuff, which is what I'm doing a lot of, you have a lot of time to conceive. I was a swimmer growing up as a kid, so when you're swimming for hours on end, which I did, I was a good swimmer, so I swam my whole life since I was like 5 years old until high school. I stared at the bottom of a pool, and I was internalizing my whole life. I did that from a young age and on, and there's many different places and ways to do that, so don't just think it's swimming in me. It's not. A lot of people have done this. They have made their life an internalization since a youthful age. They have learned to properly internalize things, and not always properly. I've had a lot of teachers. You know, I'm a 6'4" dude that has a decent amount of willpower. So the people who have grabbed a hold of me to wrangle my thoughts have really done a good job, because I don't just bend my will to whoever wants me to bend my will to them. Even if they really sell a good point, I still need you to sell it to me for reals. I'm looking into your eyeballs and looking into that soul. Ooh, are you telling me gibberish? Gibberish. I see it. I don't care if you're doing it with a great sales pitch. It's gibberish. So once again, I have to, I should wrap up right here on these thoughts getting too deep. Keep things light, if it's possible. And this day is done right here anyways, 37 minutes into it. Okay, everybody, like, subscribe, hit the notification button. I'm going to be doing more and more and more and more and more. I think I'm going to be wrapping up Majora. I'm digging it. I do need to do, so maybe tomorrow how about this? I might do 1 or 2 more days of it, but I'm just going to finish up the yellow on it and then be done. Because then once that's done, I can do this whole thing over in less than... I can do a whole redo of that since I have the whole paint scheme. And once I get what I want, I usually go mix massive amounts of it. So I would have myself I get myself set up with my color amounts, and I pour ounces and I mix. I do mixology for my paints, so that way I can reproduce them over and over and over and over and over again. So my accuracy is accurate. I got all my weight scales and things that I do that for and do that with, so that way I can keep my, like I said, my accuracy to me is, I like to be consistent, and I do believe people do like consistency in the products that they get. So with me, if you were to buy 6 of these, you would have to literally tell me I want each one of these to be different for them to not be almost dead on perfect. I've done a lot of industrialization styling of my art in a way that I have done this for years, years and years. Got products to line many times. So, like, subscribe, come back again tomorrow at 7 o'clock, and come join the chat. Eventually I'm gonna have my little chat bar going. Some people are gonna start showing up. It has to happen. Has to. Tell me what you want to talk about. If I'm going too deep, going too crazy, let me know. I want to know. I don't want to be jabbering people out the door. I'd rather be talking to people and enjoying the day. So if you are digging it, dig it again tomorrow. Back again. Check out my website. It's in the bottom corner over here. I have my Instagram. It's at Dan's Artland 1. I have Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm going to have all my stuff off to the side over here for everyone to be able to, or I'm going to have it in my description down below how to get to all those. So everybody, enjoy the day. I'll talk to y'all soon. See you again tomorrow morning. Peace. And I'm going to be skid-a-ding-da-doo. I think that it is gonna be the do. Oh, there it is. I'm gonna have to end the day with this song again. I think I'm okay. Da-da-da-da-da. Skibble-doo-dee-doo. It's the end of the day, so I think that I'm gonna have to end the song right now, but I'll keep on going, cause I don't know how. Weow! Yeah, everybody. Loving the world, loving y'all, loving life, loving my son, loving my boy, JohnnyTronic. Man, the love, my life to do. Woo-hoo. There it is, y'all. Clean, clear, crystal, life, love. Bye.